Folks, it's Remove Film from Trey. We're on episode 15. Gonna talk about post-apocalyptic wandering samurai films today, and some other films. I'm Ex Mortis. CountPupper, you're here.
I am. Bless you, Mortis. Bless you, Slushie. It's me, Count.
Slushie.
Welcome.
What did we watch this week?
We watched a lot of movies, a lot of good movies this week. It felt really good. It's been a good week of movies.
Good week for movies.
Yeah.
For once.
Pretty good.
So we're going to start this week with the Anime Minute. Just get that out of the way. Just get that squared away.
Good. Get out of here.
We only watched a little bit of anime this week, and it was the fan-made Star Fox anime.
Debatable if this is an anime. It's more of a cartoon, really.
All right.
Anime?
I guess I'll start, Slushie, and then if I run out of shit to say, you can add. All right. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Fox in Space is it's the Star Fox cartoon. There's an hour of it. Only a little bit of it is actually about Fox McCloud. It's a good thing to watch if you're a furry or if you love a furry. There's like funny. It's got cute little. It doesn't really have any space action to speak of, but there's like good little music cues from the game. There's little fan servicingtons. There's like some 3D models. It's the second thing is kind of like a noir thing. I don't know. It's cute. Slushie.
It's really interesting where they're going with the story. They're combining aspects of like the entire series all condensed down into one story. So like Star Fox 1, Star Fox 2, and 64. And
5
Star
seconds.
Fox
Do you think
Assault
they're going to
on the
actually
DS.
finish the story?
I sure fucking hope so, but probably not.
All right. I assumed at no point like that there was an intended like end to what they were doing, but I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna go over the minute. I'm sorry because I just want to say this. The thing at the end of episode 2 where Andros is talking to James about like we saw through the portal, we know they're coming. That is directly from Star Fox Assault. So everything they're pulling from is like
Right, but that doesn't have anything to do
based
with
in the
like,
actual games. So I think there is an end point to the story that might happen, but it was fucking 7 years between episodes 1 and 2. Hopefully it'll be finished. Hopefully it'll be much less time between episodes 2 and 3.
Okay, so they're still planning on making more.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I showed my friends here Hudson Hawk, the much maligned, I assume multiple Razzie winner, hated film. What did you guys think of Hudson Hawk?
Yeah, this movie sucked, dude. I'm kidding. It was amazing. It was fantastic. It was hilarious. Bruce Willis is hilarious in it. It's a really good movie. I don't know how I ever slept on it.
This just goes to show you that while we already know the Oscars are bullshit and a scam, the Razzies, this movie is proof that the Razzies are also bullshit and a scam. Because in it, Stephen E. D'Souza won 1992 winner, worst screenplay, worst director, 1992 Michael Lehman.
These are the actual Razzies?
Yeah.
Pulled up here.
Worst supporting actress, Sandra Bernhard, 1992
What?
nominee, but worst supporting actor, 1992 nominee, Richard E. Grant. Worst actor,
What?
Bruce Willis, 1992 nominee. Worst picture.
That's insane. Hudson
1992
Hawk
winner.
is really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
and
is
also,
there
it was
another
nominated
movie
in 2000 for worst picture of the decade.
by the Razzies again?
Yeah.
Of the
Razzies.
decade?
Everybody shut up. Razzies. Fucking Who are you? Fucking come at me, all right? Do you want to fight? You can fucking find me. Who are you? You fucking cowards.
Well, here's the best part, right? 1992 Razzies winner of Worst Supporting Actor, Dan Aykroyd for Nothing But Trouble. Kevin Costner, winner of Worst Actor for
Punks.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I can't speak to that, but you know.
Who?
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Kevin Costner.
Oh, worst actor?
Yeah.
For Prince of Thieves?
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. The Costner.
That's kind of a weird fucking poll.
It is, yeah.
They all are. It's the Razzies. They suck.
How you gonna have worst film of the decade when Ghoulies 4 exists?
Anyway, we're getting off track. Hudson Hawk. Like, is there another movie that's like this? It's like a cartoon. It's a mile a minute.
You know the Gremlins movies?
Every piece of dialogue is funny. Every
Gremlins
scene
2.
is funny. Everything that happens is cool or funny. Like, what's the problem? I don't get it. Like, I'm at, like, it's 1992 and you're in the theater. You're like, this is too funny. This is too good. Like, what's the issue? I don't get it.
I guess because Bruce wasn't doing a lot of comedy at the time, so
I don't know. Like, did they just market this as like some kind of dry heist film? I don't know. Like, what's the issue? I don't understand the issue. I get so mad. I get so mad about.
It's very good. I
want to know.
I like the musical segments too. I thought they were going to do the whole movie, and I was going to be like, I probably wouldn't have liked it if they did the whole movie, but the 2 times they do it, it's very good.
Yeah.
Do you want to know the other movies that were nominated for Worst of the Decade?
Sure.
Is Ghoulies
Hudson
4 one
Hawk,
of them?
obviously. No.
What'd you say?
The Postman.
Oh, Hudson. Okay. These guys hate
Hudson Hawk.
Kevin
Postman,
Costner.
Burn Hollywood Burn.
Never heard of
Striptease,
that.
And Showgirl.
These guys hate Kevin Costner and they hate strippers. Like, what the hell? Anyway.
Burn Hollywood Burn is a mockumentary. I've never heard of it.
Hudson Hawk was on Tubi. We watched it because it was leaving Tubi. It's currently off Tubi as of this recording, but it'll be back. Just keep your eye out. Anything else about Hudson Hawk?
Find someone you love and play Nintendo with them.
Yeah.
Man, Sylvester Stallone won Worst Actor of the Century?
For anything in particular? Or?
Yeah, for, quote, 99.5% of everything he's ever done, end quote.
That's stupid.
These people are dumb. Kevin Costner was.
What is their platform? I want to, like, what? Where does they get this shit out there?
Where do
like,
they get money?
Who are they? How do they have a platform? I guess we're giving them one now. That's our bad. They're scumsters. They're little
to make some dumb shit.
Yeah, I've got something to say about that at the end of Rollerblade 7, which I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so the next thing we watched. This is on Tubi too. Oh, I thought the anime minute was over. Shut the fuck up. Urusei Yatsura 2, Beautiful Dreamer.
What are you, me?
Yeah.
Okay. It does sound like me.
Count, you've seen this before, right?
I did. This is my second viewing of it. I liked all the movies this week. Spoilers. I liked them all, including this one. Even though it's anime bullshit, I really liked it. There's enough alien Baltans in it that keeps me going.
Yeah, this is I'm curious, like, why is this the only Urusei Yatsura thing that's like available? And that's always been the case, because like at Blockbuster, when the Blockbuster opened in my town, this is the only thing they had of that. And then like this was the big thing that the anime catalogs would sell. Like, why is this the only thing? I mean, I know why. It's because it's so weird and like standalone and just
Yeah, I think
like
that's the
beautifully
reason.
animated, but it's
I
just
wonder if
it's
the actual
strange.
show or other movies are as weird because it seems like it. This seems like it's has to be so different from the rest of the
Yeah.
franchise.
Yeah,
I
it's
wonder
like,
if it's because they decided like this is weird and interesting and stands by itself, so we can dub it, and then the dub just didn't do well, so they never dubbed anything else.
I'm sure they've dubbed at some point some of the other stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, it's just I don't
Do you
know.
like a slushie?
Yeah, I did.
It feels like whoever directed this was just like, I'm gonna take this universe and this franchise and like just make a movie about like science fiction fandom and then also some dream bullshit. It's like not connected to the rest of the series at all, really. Other than there's characters, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I really liked it. This is the only thing I've seen from the franchise, and I enjoyed it as it is, even though I don't really know all the characters or anything. So, it's like half sci-fi, half Groundhog Day, stuck in a dream bullshit. But I like it. It's very, very well animated.
Yeah, there's a lot of really like just adventurous, I don't know if that's the word. Ambitious. There's a lot of ambitious animation sequences and like shots and stuff. I don't know.
And as I said, there's tons of cameos. So if you're into that sort of thing, like, oh, I know that thing, you'll like this movie.
Yeah, if you've ever seen like the Daikon 4 convention animation, like this is a whole movie of it, basically.
Right, and it's important to note this is from the 80s, so it's like older nerd fandom stuff. So it's cool to see what they were into enough at the time to put it and animate it into a movie. To me, that's very interesting. What'd you say, Slush?
The cooler nerd fan.
Yes, I would say so.
So, after that, everybody was in an anime mood. I showed my friends my little unicorn anime from my childhood, Unico and the Island of Magic. What'd you guys think?
Explains a lot. This is a Morris is explained a lot week.
Yeah.
No, this is very cute. I like this one too.
As we started it, I was like, I wasn't so sure about it because it's very, it's like obviously it's a movie whose target audience is children.
It's by Sanrio, like it's a Sanrio character,
and it really felt like it was targeted heavily towards children, and I felt like Count for like the first 10 minutes of the film.
You felt like Count?
Yeah, where he hates everything that he liked as a kid now because he's an adult and he's beyond it.
Does Count do that?
Past it.
I just said I liked this.
Yeah, but you didn't like it as a kid. Oh, okay. Here we go.
Scooby-Doo sucks.
Here we go.
Oh my god. I'm not.
Scooby-Doo
when
doesn't
we
hold
watch
up. This holds up.
When we talk about the live action Scooby-Doo films on this podcast, we'll get into this. Right now, we're talking about Unico.
You dragged me into this.
Count, shut the fuck up about Scooby-Doo for once. Jesus.
Anyway, the first 10 minutes, mainly when he's like directly, when like the only two characters are Unico and Mervin? What's the cat's name?
Melvin, right?
Melvin? Yeah.
It's something like that, yeah.
When it's just Unico and the cat with wooden headphones.
They call him
very much like a...
They call him like Neko something later in the movie. Like they switch his name at some point. I don't remember what.
Probably because he earned the title by serving the...
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
The guy.
Well, he's, the whatever they call him is just like a a cat that is native to Japan. I think, like a wild cat native to Japan. I looked it up afterwards.
Okay.
But when it was just Unico and the cat, it was like I was a little bit like, is this going to be the whole movie? This is going to last for an hour and a half.
And Slushie's a furry, folks.
Right. But then when the dorky looking kid shows up, he actually looks very cool. He's like a bug, kind of. What's his name? I've forgotten all names in this.
Toby?
Unico,
Yeah, his name's Toby.
Yeah.
When Toby shows up and it gets weird, that's when it starts getting cool, and I was just kind of sucked in, and it was very cool. It's like it's a very child-friendly fantasy thing, but it also has those things that when you watch it as a small kid might traumatize you, and that's how you know it's a good kids movie. So I don't know. It's cool.
I thought it was a great kids movie. I gotta say, the beginning I didn't find boring. I could find this movie boring and terrible, but it's so well animated that from the very beginning, like, I don't know how you weren't enjoying that, because everything just felt so alive and beautiful and gorgeous. If it was like some generic crap made today where it's so lifeless, I would not enjoy this, but every frame was like a treat visually, so I was very invested early on. Scooby-Doo doesn't have that.
Has there ever been like a beautiful Scooby-Doo? Has that ever happened?
No.
Is
Have you seen the Hex Girls?
Yeah.
They're hot.
Good point.
I think in the late 90s, early 2000s, there were a lot of really well animated Scooby-Doo films.
All I'm saying is that, like, if this was stiffly animated and not gorgeous, I could see myself not enjoying it, but it was from the beginning that, and then it does develop into something even more enjoyable, and I had a good time.
Show your kids Unico at an early age and Nausicaa if you want them to never get why people like Disney. Like, which, you know, in the current situation is maybe a good idea, you know?
I think you can show both. You can show this and Disney stuff.
Yeah, see what they like better. I don't know. I know what I like better.
I mean, I like Disney shorts a lot. I can't say too much about the old movies, but I love Donald Duck stuff from like the 40s.
But this is on Tubi, so.
You know, it's not on Tubi. Anything by fucking Disney.
Yeah, well,
Probably.
they have their own thing. So.
Their own thing that costs money, unlike Tubi, which is free.
For now, we're going to date ourselves. I feel like.
We'll see.
Great film. I love it. Big influence.
It's very cute, though. Like, it's very sweet.
It's a little sad, too. But not too sad. Anything else on that?
Watch it. I mean, maybe not by yourself, because you'll be like, why am I watching a movie for toddlers by myself? But if you can find a group of like-minded people, or if you have a toddler in your life.
I remember I watched it by myself on VHS on the floor in my house when I was 4, and it was dark.
That sounds perfect. If you're 4 years old and you're listening now,
which you shouldn't be for legal reasons.
Right.
Yeah. Just
we are not.
Shut yourself in a room, turn off the lights, put on Unico, and pretend it's 1993.
There you go. Try that.
What's up, you cool baby? Count showed 2 movies that I didn't catch all of, but Count and Slushie saw them, so.
Yeah,
but I'm a cheerleader. The first
these
one.
are 2 Jamie Babbitt movies starring Natasha Lyonne as a lesbian in both of these. And I haven't seen either of them. Apparently, But I'm a Cheerleader is like a really good cult movie. It does not have great reviews online, but I fucking loved it. It's about a teenage cheerleader whose parents give her an intervention for being gay, and then they send her to like a gay conversion camp, and what unfolds there, and her accepting herself, and it's also very visually interesting and eye-popping and colorful and kind of silly. What'd you think, Slushie?
I was upset by the movie in the first half of it. Because it was set up, the first half especially was set up like a comedy, like a 90s goofy,
like an Adam
live
Sandler
action
style.
Right.
It is a comedy.
Yes, but unlike an Adam Sandler movie, it has a very good message instead of just having a message at all. Kind of. I haven't seen many of his movies. I assume most of them. Like I've seen Click. Click's message is lame. Anyway, I also saw the one with the bulging eyes guinea pig. I don't remember what it's called. Whatever. I don't think conversion camps are funny, and I wasn't really prepared to watch a goofball comedy set in a fucking conversion camp. It kind of stops being funny halfway through and just starts being a very heartfelt story. There are still jokes, but life has jokes too. So,
thank God.
I think it exists. I think like if you're into comedies and you're watching it because it's a comedy, you're gonna get lured in and become gay, in a good way. And I don't know. I think it's good. I can understand why it's like an LGBT cult movie. I have heard of it when like looking for LGBT movies to watch. There need to be more movies about trans people that don't have horrific tragedies in them. I'll say that.
Was there a trans person in this?
I think this is good for the gays. No, not at all.
Okay, I was gonna say,
that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I don't think there was. And there were no dead gays.
I don't think they had invented trans when this movie came out.
Right.
Right.
They definitely did. I know you're joking, but people think we're serious when we say the word woke, so I just want to be clear.
They hadn't even invented bisexual yet, right? Like, was this?
It's the new sexuality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if this was before or after that time. Stupid.
I want to say too, the director is a lesbian, so I knew that we were in.
Yeah, it was written and directed by. Yeah, it was written and directed by a lesbian. The people involved with production were lesbians. One of the two main characters is now a lesbian. Didn't realize it at the time, but she came out in like 2015 or 2016. Natasha Lyonne doesn't seem to be a lesbian, but she might be bisexual. Who knows?
It's her business.
She's a treat to watch. That's all. She's adorable.
Yeah, she's a great actress. She's very fun. I'm sure most people know her primarily from Russian Doll or whatever it was called, because that's what I know her from.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
No idea.
It's really good. It's a Netflix miniseries, like 6 episodes about her like reliving the same day over and over.
Damn.
I like Beautiful Dreamer.
Yeah.
But it's good. I don't know.
So would you recommend But I'm a Cheerleader, Slushie?
Yeah, for sure. If you hate gay people, you should watch this so that you can learn to stop being such a fucking dipshit.
Yeah, that could work.
And if you love gay people, you should watch this because it's got gay people in it.
There you go.
And I feel like there is a wide spectrum of representation of cisgender gay people in this, and that's good.
Yeah, I guess we should mention that there are gay men and gay women here. It's not just like a straight up lesbian camp movie.
It is a whole wide range of casts, ranging from flaming homosexuals to people you would pass on the street and assume they're straight because that's what you've been taught to do throughout life. So I think it's good.
Well, that's all changing.
Yeah, and that's good. And I think
And it's on
movies
Tubi,
like
so
this-
check it out.
I think if movies like this didn't exist 30 years ago, it might not have been. So that's good. Might not.
Yeah,
be
people
changing now.
in my chat, because I screened this, kept saying that this was like a movie that they know others would rent if they were like questioning or a lesbian, that they could get away with showing or watching in their house because like their parents wouldn't, based off the title and cover, like they could sneak it in type of thing. So
I
apparently it was a really
wondered
important movie.
about that. Yeah, maybe.
But I haven't heard of it until like, this past week, and I enjoyed it.
I would just rent Doom Generation. That was my thing. But I guess I'm not a girl, so
Yeah, I don't know.
So then the other movie, same director, Addicted to Fresno.
Same director.
I didn't see any of this, so I have no idea what's going on.
Jamie Babbitt returns. Natasha Lyonne returns as a lesbian again with Aubrey Plaza and Judy Greer. And Judy Greer and Natasha Lyonne are sisters, and Judy Greer is addicted to sex. They're working as maids. Judy Greer accidentally kills someone, and it's about them trying to get away with disposing of the body. That's it in a really small.
Has anyone gone on
summarized form.
IMDb and like put on the trivia section, director trademark, Natasha Lyonne is a lesbian. Plays a lesbian.
We should do it.
That'd be good. Any
All of
thoughts,
this makes me
Slushie?
think like, was it like a sequel? But that's not really addressed or anything.
I thought I didn't even realize. I guess I don't know exactly who Fred Armisen is. He must not have been very annoying.
He's a little wormy nerd.
He ran like the cremation
that
place.
Oh yeah, okay. He's in like 2 scenes. Anyway,
Second billing, or
I
guess fourth billing.
Fourth.
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza is in more scenes than this, and she's billed less. So
She's got
I
the
thought it was
end
good.
though.
Yeah, I thought it was good. It's not really a gay story kind of at all. But it was, I guess I can't really think about what kind of movie this is.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed
Is it
feelings.
a
This is
black
probably like my
comedy?
least
That
favorite
would be
of the
my
week.
guess.
It's
Yeah,
not.
I guess so.
Like it's
but-
just
It's not.
I don't know. It's not bad, but it's
I mean,
not
it's
like
a lit-
amazing.
Yeah. I thought it was fun though. It's a great movie to have on the side when you're playing a Doom WOD, which is how
Is
I
that what happened?
experienced it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
I
say
was
it's not.
playing Harmony.
It's not a gay movie. She just happens to be gay.
Yeah.
On the characters. It's very normalized, as it should be.
Exactly.
How many years
Nobody-
after But I'm a Cheerleader was this made? Or is it
Let me look.
before?
No,
20
this is
years.
after.
It's made 20. This is made in like recently.
2015.
Oh, geez.
2015 it came out. And Cheerleader, 15 or 16 years. Cheerleader was 99.
So
yeah.
16 years later.
I was going to make some comment about how far gay has come, but I don't know.
I mean, there's no like she's gay from the beginning type of thing. Like it's just open. It's not like, but I'm a cheerleader. And then she's just having a falling out with one girlfriend who you never see, and then the budding relationship with Aubrey Plaza.
All right.
Who was smoking hot as always.
Have you seen Legion, Slushie?
Everybody loves
No,
this
'cause
Aubrey
I-
Plaza. I
don't care about X-Men that much.
Well, it's
And I
not.
don't
It's barely
I don't
X-Men
think
related.
Legion
FX
is X-Men?
shows are good.
What the hell
Yeah,
is
it's
Legion?
Yes.
about Charles Xavier's son.
Yeah, way to fucking spoil it.
Is that a spoiler?
It is.
I searched, like, when I heard of the show, I searched Legion, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's Charles Xavier's son."
That's like if
It's
the
one of those
show
things
was
that like
called Zorn, and then Slushie was like, yeah, it's about a guy who pretends to be Charles Xavier. I don't know. Count, does this make any sense to you?
The Zorn thing was Magneto.
Oh, was it Magneto? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really.
But like, okay, comic fans, yes, would know that David Haller is the son of Charles Xavier. But like, I remember as the show came out, people were shocked.
I didn't know he had a son.
You know that? Well, a lot of people don't. Like, if you aren't reading X-Men comics. But Slushie, it's like barely X-Men related, and Aubrey Plaza is very good in it. She plays the villain. I'll spoil it for you, because you spoil it for more. She plays the villain.
There's an X in the O of the logo of Legion. I think it's pretty clear. It's
Legioxin.
But X-Men is never even said.
Well, yeah, because they don't have the rights.
They had the rights.
Actually, yeah,
they did.
It's
they just chose. It's not about the X-Men. They're not important. They're not the end-all, be-all of everything. Just to me.
And Count hates Spider-Man, we found out. Well,
let's clarify. I hate Peter Parker.
Oh, okay.
I should clarify.
Okay.
I like the other Spider-Men and women.
Right.
Which Peter Parker do you hate? Because there's so many personalities of that person.
Any of them.
Okay.
Hates them
along the entire string theory. Peter Parker's, get rid of them.
Check this out. Count's read all of Batmanga. Haha. Gotcha.
Don't tell people. Don't tell people that.
The fuck is Batmanga?
It's the Japanese Batman manga that like came out in the 60s.
Oh.
They're going to think I'm not cool.
And it got released like in America not super long ago in just like one volume.
Like a decade ago. Maybe a little bit longer.
It's a little weird.
Did you read it did you read it before or after it was officially released in the US?
I read the official version of the English translation.
Did you know about it before it was released in the US?
What does that mean?
I'm just asking, yes or no. Did you know that it existed before it was released in the US?
What are you, the cops?
What am I on fucking trial here?
I'm going somewhere with this. Just answer the question.
CountPupper arraigned on charges of
trying to
knowing about Batmanga.
I'm just answer the question.
I might have.
Okay, then you're fucking lame. You're a nerd. It's
I'm
fine.
not.
So the last movie we watched is something Count watched in college a lot.
I do. I love this movie.
Just to keep the through line going. Mechanical Violator Hakaider.
What a fucking title.
Yeah. Like it's on this is on
movie.
Tubi just as Hakaider, and then it's on IMDb as like Robo Guy Hakaider or something.
Robo Guy.
Or like Robo Man Hakaider. I don't know, it's weird. But like I remember seeing the title Mechanical Violator like on DVDs and stuff, but I had never watched this until last night.
Roboman Hakaider is the IMDb.
This was cool. This is basically was this from 95?
It is from 95,
It's basically like an anime OVA from 1995 with less boobs and live action. Yes. Like nobody takes a shower, but it like in terms of pacing and like theme and action, it's like very like it's similar to Genocyber animes you may have seen or heard of or not. Slushie, do you want to say something less weird about it?
It has a really cool stop motion fight around the ending. Yeah, and I would have like when the big thing that was stop motion that caused the stop motion to happen started animating, I totally expected it to be composited with like live action footage of Hakaider reacting to it.
It was a little
bit. But then
bit.
Hakaider was also stop motion.
Yeah, it was like
in the wide shots where they showed both moving at the same time. It was very cool. And like when there was like close up stuff, it was a puppet. And that was also very cool. I guess similar to how they did Jurassic Park. It was a very well-made movie. It was very visually appealing. It had some really good landscape shots of places that couldn't possibly exist because they're too cool to be real. It had incredible models and miniatures
In suits.
and suits.
Plenty of great suits. He rides a
Suits that they
motorcycle.
lit on suits that they lit on fire. Suits that got smashed.
A
and
lot of
destroyed.
suits are on fire.
Yeah, it was fucking cool. It's insane the budget that this movie probably had, and also Hakaider looks really cool in it, and everybody looks really cool in it. A guy that reminded me a lot of Gact from Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII is in it, and that was cool. Everybody looked fucking cool in this. This was maybe one of the coolest looking movies I've seen in my life.
So this used to be on YouTube all the time, which is how I watched it in college. And for those of you who don't know out there, listeners, there was a little Japanese show like Kamen Rider called Kikaida, and Hakaider was the enemy, the Shadow the Hedgehog to the Sonic the Hedgehog type. And then they decided in the 90s to give him his own movie from his point of view, and he's like an anti-hero. So that's basically
just like how Shadow the Hedgehog got his own game.
Yes.
That's right.
Where he is the anti-hero.
Yes.
But it's just such a strange premise, I feel like, for the time to let's revive the 70s TV show as a hardcore action movie starring the villain. So fucking cool to do that.
Do you think Guzman had a picture of Kikaider and Hakaider that he looked at? Just like in Shadow the Hedgehog, where the President of the United States had a picture of Shadow and Sonic that he liked to look at.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Sure.
I was wondering if this was made after Shotaro Ishinomori had died, but I was wondering.
He died later in the 90s.
Yeah, he died in 98, so this was made before he died, but I think after he had stopped working. I was just wondering if could this only be made the way it was because he had died or something, but I guess he was still around.
He probably loved it because Kamen Rider is supposed to be all weird and horrific from the manga. And
yeah.
So
when did the Kikaider anime happen?
That was after he died. That was early 2000s.
Okay.
I've seen that as well. I like that. It's not amazing or anything, but it's fun.
Again, this is on Tubi, both subbed and dubbed.
I highly recommend Hakaider as a tokusatsu movie, and just as a weird movie to show your friends. If you're out there and you're listening to this, you're like, what can I show my friends to seem cool? Put on Hakaider.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Your friends will thank you. Maybe.
I say that because I would show it to anyone. I would show Hakaider and that movie, The American Astronaut, to anyone who would sit down to watch it. So
cool.
Count, I want to be clear on something.
Yeah,
I think you're very cool.
Thank you, Slushie. I think you're very cool too.
Thank you. What I said earlier was based on
no comment.
Society and how they would feel about.
We know, Slushie.
I know
about watching Hakaider 200 times in college.
If it wouldn't be a lot of work, I'd bring all our avatars in a little tighter. But it would be a lot of work. So
imagine it in your mind's eye.
So our first of two main movies this week, like Unico, like Hudson Hawk, this is me showing my dear friends a movie I care about very much. I think it's, what is it, my 14th favorite movie on my top 100, 17th, something like that. This is The Rollerblade 7, directed by Donald G. Jackson with Scott Shaw.
Yeah, I thought I was going to hate this because I've seen some of his other movies. This one's good.
Well, have you seen Scott Shaw movies or have you seen Donald G. Jackson movies?
whoever did Roller Gator, and then just like the Rollerblade one.
Rollerblade might
That was
be Donald, but I think Roller
I think
Gator is Scott Shaw.
Because those two are not good.
it's hard to tell who's by what because Donald G. Jackson died in 2003 and he's credited on movies all the way up to 2019. So I think Scott Shaw just puts the guy's name on everything he makes.
We'll probably get into it a little more. They have a weird relationship, those guys. So Scott Shaw, the main character of this movie, Hawk, frequent collaborator with Donald G. Jackson, still making movies. He is like very out. He has a Tumblr, he has a Twitter, he has a YouTube, he has a blog. He's written. It's really hard to like navigate all the stuff he's written because there's like all these weird links and sublinks. But like, he's written a lot of stuff about these movies and like his experience with Zen filmmaking. This is a Zen film, which means they didn't have a script. They just went out in the California desert and started shooting and whatever they got. This movie and the sequel apparently is made of 100+ hours of footage. So
damn, really?
Yeah, that was something I found on his blog. Like,
so like if you're going to shoot that much, I guess you're going to come out with some sort of movie.
Yeah, you gotta be able to find at least an hour and a half in that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Before we start the discussion.
I thought I was up and down on this film throughout it. Cause like the early stuff, while obviously was done on a fucking $5 bill and a pack of gum, it was weird, but it was very cool and interesting, and they were like doing some world building that I really cared about. If you ever catch me in a bad mood, I'll tell you about how post-apocalyptic films or how post-apocalypse as a setting can suck very much and be very boring. And I feel like a lot of the very popular post-apocalypse things suck a lot and are very boring, like Fallout recently. Sucks and is very boring.
Yeah.
But I love post-apocalypse shit with like weird fucked up gimmicks. And both of these movies have that. This had it in spades. Like it's about a samurai, a post-apocalypse. It's about Doc Mack going to the desert where everybody legally has to be on wheels of some sort. The wheel zone. And I don't know. I think it's very cool. I think the movie is like very incompetently made in a lot of ways, but it's very clearly a bunch of people who just had fun shooting. Hopefully had fun shooting 100 hours of footage. So it was just fun to watch. I wish I was very high. I had a health scare, but now that I'm not scared about my health anymore, I'm going to get high again. Maybe we can watch another Donald G. Jackson movie.
Yeah, we got to watch the sequel
while I'm fucking
to see what happens.
I gotta know what happens.
Count. Any thoughts up front?
Like I said, I didn't think I was going to like this, but some people. The problem with saying, for me personally, why I don't like to reveal to too many people if I like a director or an actor, because I might like one or two of their movies, and then they assume you like everything, and then they say, if you like this, why don't you like that? What I'm getting at is Roller Gator sucks. But it goes to show that some people, sometimes they don't always hit it out of the park, but this one did, for me, personally. It's weird enough and surreal enough that I could get into it without it being bad. But we should also say, like, this is not a big budget movie by any means, and it doesn't have like all the frills of a real proper storyline. I feel like Six String Samurai is more of that. Like, it's more of a narrative than Rollerblade 7.
Yeah,
And
these are very
directly.
similar movies
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
Like Six String Samurai does it on like a bigger budget and with a proper narrative and through line, and Rollerblade 7 is really, really zen and just going with the fucking flow. And there's a lot of hot women in it.
So,
Count's favorite thing, a hot woman.
I think this movie starts, at least my first note is Donaldo feeding lines. So it starts in the Master of Light Institute, which I guess we can assume is a place, a university of some kind, like dedicated to Bushido. It's run by Master Donaldo, and he's talking to a nun, I guess, Sister Sparrow. I made a chart here. To explain the
I've been dying to see
character
this
relationships. So Sister Sparrow is going on. She's getting a mission to the Wheel Zone, speaking with Master Donaldo. You guys were both saying that she was having her lines fed to her off camera. I had never thought about that interpretation. I thought it was like some kind of inner thought, but also I guess there is you can literally just see Donaldo in one shot tell her what to say, and then she says it because the camera is facing Donaldo. So
yeah, I thought it was like the astral plane or something. They were getting really weird with it, but I don't know.
So
that's what I thought it might be at first, but then because she was describing a vision she had, right? And
right.
It did make sense for it to be this is someone on a higher plane speaking to her. But then it was also lines that that had nothing to do with her vision.
Yeah.
That she started to get fed as well.
I think the last thing Donaldo just says, Donaldo says to her, thank you, Master Donaldo. And then she says, thank you, Master Donaldo. It's
right?
Something like that. So maybe you're right. I don't know. Most of the scenes she's in for the rest of the film do not have dialogue. So I guess that was just not her strong point, maybe.
Yeah, I guess.
So we meet. It then so she gets sent into the Wheel Zone. At this point, we don't really know what the Wheel Zone is.
Still don't.
Well,
sure we do.
Sure we do. Do you not know what the Wheel Zone is?
You have to have wheels.
So
yeah, that's get that. But what is it?
So okay, Pharaoh.
It's you vanish into it. So what is it though?
It's. I mean, I don't know. We can assume, just for the sake of simplicity, that the Master of Light Institute is somewhere in California. Somewhere that you can drive to the Wheel Zone, which is a place by the Griffith Observatory and the Los Angeles River bed.
It's like another dimension.
There's a fence around it, and there's a sign that says, Wheel Zone, if you lived here, you'd be home. It's made out of welding.
Did it say home?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it said if you lived here, you'd be here.
Well, that would, I don't know, maybe. That would be a little in keeping with the film. So,
yeah.
Okay, so, I don't know, let's go back.
And he steps through, and then it's like zaps him in, right?
Well, his motorcycle disappears.
Right.
He doesn't disappear.
Motorcycles have wheels?
Right. But they're okay.
But it also said no motor vehicles beyond this point. A real life sign that existed for real that they used as the plot element for the film.
So we meet Hawk.
It's another dimension or what? That's all.
We meet Hawk, right?
We do.
It cuts to Hawk. He's in a trench coat with two bikini babes, but he's in a hot tub in his trench coat with two bikini babes.
Right.
And he gets a call from Donaldo that he has to go into the wheel zone to save Sparrow. So I guess her mission went bad. And Hawk looks like anyone you've ever met who claims to know how to use a sword. You know, I'm not gonna cast any aspersions on his actual martial ability, but he does look like anyone in the world who.
Sure, he's a mall samurai.
Right. Guy who looks like Hawks tried to steal my Neo Geo Pocket Color one time, but.
Damn.
So, yeah, so he goes to the wheel zone, and his motorcycle disappears behind him. He seems to know what's going to happen. He's like, damn.
They're actually related, right?
What's that?
They're like actual brother and sister.
I don't.
She is not. She is
Hawk
not.
and Sparrow.
That's a good point. Well, yeah, so Donaldo says, your sister Sparrow has been taken, and Hawk is like, my sister, who became your sister. So I don't know. I assumed it was like
as like it's let's say I have a sister and she became a nun, so it's like, oh, it's my sister who became your sister.
Maybe I assumed it was like you joined the Master of Light Institute and everybody's brother and sister there, but maybe they're biological. I don't know. But Hawk is mad because she's forsaken the years of samurai training that he gave her. He mentions that, and she became a pacifist.
If I'm training Slushie in the arts of the samurai, you better stick to it, Slush.
So, we find.
I might.
We find Rhonda Shear. We meet a lot of the characters are introduced with like full screen titles that either say their actor name or their character name.
Right.
You know, some, I don't know why some get characters and some get actors, but we're introduced to Rhonda Shear, who is like a dominatrix cop outside of the wheel zone, who seems to be, she's harassing an Elvis impersonator guy, but we find out later maybe he's the big, we'll get into it. So there's a guy who looks like Elvis and he's acting like Elvis, and she won't let him into the wheel zone because he doesn't have wheels. He doesn't have skates. You have to have roller skates or a skateboard to be in the wheel zone. And this scene is very hard to hear because they're like mic'd up very badly, and you really can't hear anything either of them are saying. But you can kind of get the idea about the wheel zone.
And it's the only scene she's in, right?
Right.
Okay.
And for some reason, this time watching the movie, I was like, Rhonda Shear, that's the lady from USA Up All Night. And it was, which the third movie in this trilogy, Legend of the Rollerblade 7, is a recut of the first two films with the nudity taken out so it could be shown on USA Up All Night. So there's some kind of connection there.
So we'll skip that one.
Yeah, I don't think we'll need to see that one.
What if
We've
it has
seen enough clip shows.
What if it has new footage though?
That was the first one I saw because I rented it in like 1996.
Oh, okay. Did that also have Pride of the Yankees in it?
No, most definitely not. No, I don't think it did.
That seems fucked up that they would not include that
Well,
song.
it's two movies, you know, so it would be in the middle of the movie, I guess. If it even had the same narrative, which I don't know that it does. I don't know. So Rhonda Shear, after she harasses this Elvis guy, she rides him and makes him, what does she make him say?
Makes him sing.
She makes him sing, but he's like, I'm a piggy. He's like saying something. He's singing something.
Ride me,
weird.
ride me, ride me, ride me, ride me, ride me.
Yeah. Kind of a little sexual, but for some reason we see Joe Estevez. The film tells us it's Joe Estevez, And he's standing on a hill doing some hand gestures, and then Rhonda Shear lets Hawk into the wheel zone without wheels. Like, what do you think is going on there?
Well, I think they couldn't get Joe Estevez to stick around and couldn't figure out how to put him in the movie. So they did it there. But I don't know. Mortis, you had a theory.
Well, I thought maybe they were showing us that Saint Offender, which is the character Joe Estevez plays, might have been influencing Rhonda to let Hawk into the wheel zone because he had his own plans for Hawk. I don't know, though. He's in the sequel much more than he is. He's in like one shot in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
kind of
I
confusing.
don't know what's going on with that, but it's fine.
So we get the first, like,
I don't think they knew.
right.
I say that in general. I feel because it's Zen filmmaking in a way. I feel like a lot of it's not like set in stone from their filmmaking point of view.
So we get the first fight scene. Hawk catches up with Sparrow and some punks. And they're like, this fight it's in a dry riverbed or lake bed, and it has like sometimes it uses the same footage like up to 6 times, the same little shot.
And sometimes it's different takes of the same shot.
Yes,
it feels like.
Yes, it is. Different angles, different like literal different takes. Any comments on this action scene or the action in general?
I thought it was strange at first, and then you do it enough times, and it just kind of becomes like the movie. If it only happened once, it'd be very weird, but they keep doing it, so it's okay.
A lot of the action scenes a lot of scenes in general are like fully overdubbed with music. Some often like pretty harsh music and like weird music. I assume they just like didn't have a good mic out in the desert, but like I don't
most
know.
Definitely not.
I think it's good and cool.
Died or something. So I like a lot of the music. I like Alice Speed's theme a lot when she was cruising around.
Which one was that?
I don't know, but I remember
the one that comes to mind right now is the one that's like just like cymbals over and over and over.
I don't know.
I think that was the one during this fight.
I'd have to look it up again. But I like the tunes. The action's okay. I'm curious of how well it would flow without repeating footage. How these scenes would flow.
The movie would be shorter.
See that? Well, it would be shorter, but not like a ton though. It'd probably be like 5 to 10 minutes shorter.
Yeah.
So it would still be like a feature length, especially considering some of the things we watch are like 50 minutes. So
yeah, longer than
many Puppet Masters.
Yeah. So, Fukusai Ninja sort of skates in.
The Minotaur.
A samurai knight who's like bigger than everybody. He skates in, hits Hawk over the head, skates away. Sparrow is again lost. Hawk wakes up. He has to go to Psychic or Not for guidance.
Or not.
There's like a lady in
Karen Black.
That's Karen Black.
Yeah.
There's Karen Black is she in other stuff?
Oh yeah, she's dead now. She's a pretty well-known actress for horror.
Oh, okay. She's in kind of like a statue junkyard, and she's feeding puppies and also Hawk psychedelic portobello mushrooms. And then he seems to sort of have a trip, I guess. They just sort of like have a little romantic jaunt through the statues. This reminded me of Easy Rider, the scene in the Los Angeles, or the, what is it? What's that southern city called? New Orleans. Like the New Orleans graveyard where they're all doing acid. More Easy Rider connections to come. So, and then Donaldo is there? Why do you think Donaldo's there? Do you think he's really there? Do you think he's
Astral Plane?
Astral Plane, yeah. Just because he's the master of light.
You know? Yeah.
Has he been there before? Has he had a similar experience with psychic or not?
Maybe. But maybe not.
Have they been lovers?
Well, if she's a genuine psychic and he's some sort of Zen light master, then there could be some connection there, and maybe he can project himself like Luke Skywalker did in The Last Jedi, and that's what was going on.
We don't talk about that.
Not today. So my next note is...
was that, or I can make an X-Men reference, so I was trying not to do that.
My next note is the Black Knight. So did Sparrow die at this point? She gets killed at some point. Right, the punk, like, is this where the punks just sort of kill her for no real reason?
On the beach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
So she appears in Frank Stallone's domain. Frank Stallone, the Black Knight. He makes her dance sexually for him, and he seems to rule the afterlife in this world. I don't. Is that open to interpretation at all, or do you think that's pretty cut and dry?
I don't know.
You know, at least like he's a knight, right? So I don't know if he rules it, but he has some sort of authority.
Well, because like there's that scene where Hawk and the Black Knight are fighting. Like on a forest path or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they look pretty regular. Kinda. I don't know what the deal with that was.
Well, okay.
I guess if Hawk killed him and he went into the afterlife to rule the afterlife, that would make sense. So
I mean, the first time we meet the Black Knight, he's in the afterlife, we can assume. So later, I think the scene you're talking about is a couple scenes from now. After we meet Pharaoh for the first time, after we meet his ninja, his camouflage ninja, who Count hates for some reason.
He looks cool.
I just think he's lame.
He looks cool.
This camouflage ninja, a few scenes from now, somehow gets into the Black Knight's domain, and then they say he takes him through time and space to the wheel zone. He says that. He says he's going to do that, Slushie.
So it is another dimension.
Seems to be. But somehow this ninja got there to take the Black Knight out, to specifically just to fight Hawk in a forest in the wheel zone. So
there were parts of this movie where I had a little bit of trouble paying attention.
Well, that's why I made this chart. I knew you would, because it's difficult and not everything is mic'd up properly, and I've seen it 5 times, so I've absorbed a little more of the world of the wheel zone. But like on the afterlife note, we meet. There's been a few scenes with this guy I have on the chart labeled God. I'm not sure what this guy's deal is. He's just standing in the desert, just sort of giving directions, or like not giving directions. But the Elvis guy from earlier finds him, and he's like, he says he's looking for Richie Valens. He's looking for Buddy Holly, which this ties in with Six String Samurai.
Sure does.
Yet, like, is the wheel zone the afterlife? Is something, maybe you're right, Count. Maybe there's something going on with the wheel zone. Maybe
I think there is. I don't think it's just a place where you have to have wheels.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more going on.
Yes, there's
Clearly.
something going on with the Wheel Zone and Zen and mysticism and the afterlife.
I can't tell you what it is, but there's something.
So I think at this point we are introduced to the other 3 members of the Rollerblade 7, which is the banjo guy, Kabuki, and Alice Speed. They're just sort of having scenes, as I recall.
Yeah, they're doing their own thing to start.
So what do you guys think about the concept of the Rollerblade 7 and the heroes?
Well, there's only 4 of them.
Yeah, what do you mean 7?
Well,
what does that even mean?
It's the name of the movie.
Yeah, why?
Well, okay, so I think I have an answer.
Who are these
for
other
that.
people on the cover?
Well, it's interesting that they're on the cover because okay. I found this some years ago on Scott Shaw's Tumblr. He had a little story about this. And I have a photo that he posted on the Tumblr. I believe this is the original Rollerblade 7. I think the first day of shooting or something, like they put out a thing like, hey, it's post-apocalyptic, you need roller skates, you need a weapon or something, show up to the LA River and we're just gonna shoot and you're gonna get paid for the day. And so based on that, there's a scene in the movie with all these people skating around just sort of having a melee, and it's like sort of out of place and it's just there. But I think what happened is they started shooting the movie and most of the Rollerblade 7 did not come back because they were like, this is horseshit. This is weird. I'm just going to take my $100 for the day and I'm not coming back. And the weird thing is they came up with the concept of the Rollerblade 7 and then there weren't 7, but then they just left the title.
Yeah, they just kept the title.
It has a good ring to it, but I don't know.
It does sound a lot better than the Rollerblade 4.
Yeah.
Well, it makes you think of Magnificent 7 or 7 Samurai, and it's not anything like that, to which Mortis said I shouldn't have assumed, and he's right. This ain't that type of movie, folks.
But the only, apart from, the only guy who stayed is the banjo guy, and he probably didn't stay that long because he perishes at some point.
He stayed long enough for there to be a lot of banjo in this film.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the scenes that he's in, he is playing banjo as he's skating around with a hockey glove.
It's very impressive.
And it's dubbed over, the scene is dubbed over with banjo music. So
very shrill banjo music.
Oh, is there any other kind?
No, but
I liked it. I liked the banjo music.
I don't hate banjo. I do like banjo. It hurt my ears because it was mixed weird. It was
the banjo guy was reminding me of the guy from Big O a little bit. That's what I got from him.
Never
Schwartzwald?
Yeah, Schwartzwald.
Something else we gotta watch.
I love him
Mortis,
too. I love the banjo guy. I love Schwartzwald.
That makes sense, Mortis. It's on brand for you.
So, Hawk also hates the banjo. There's a scene where he's just like, ugh, I hate banjo. And Alice seems to love it. So, okay, now I'm remembering now, the literal very first scene of the movie is Alice Speed, right? It's Donaldo giving the katana to Alice Speed and saying, go to the wheel zone, and you have this sword, and
and she's like, I don't know how to use it. And then he's like, only pull the weapon, or only pull the sword when you're facing true evil.
I have a question now.
Yeah.
Does she ever draw the sword?
I think she does eventually once. I don't remember.
Is it in the end where it's like flashing? Is it that
Yeah.
scene? Is that how they like escape? I really don't know.
I don't
That
remember.
must be. I know that when she first comes up against Kabuki and Banjo Mummy, she starts to pull the sword and then
It happens several
thinks
times.
on it.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna like just some normal ass ninjas will attack her,
but
and she
these-
doesn't draw the sword.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna draw it, but wait, are they evil?
There's a lot of scenes in this movie that are like, you can see like sort of the bones of a normal movie, right? Like
Yeah,
like that is something that could be in a normal movie. The concept of this sword that she can't draw, yeah, and it would be more played up and more of less of something that you have to like laser focus in on to even notice. The thing with her teaching Hawk how to skate, would be like in a normal movie. Because like she sort of starts teaching Hawk how to skate, and he sort of starts teaching her how to use a sword. And it's like it's like one scene, and they don't say anything about it, but it's like, and it also never like pays off. But like in a normal movie, that would be like a whole thing, a whole subplot.
I wish we could remake this into a normal movie. It'd be interesting.
It would be. But there's also Kabuki. We've also met Kabuki by now, who is a
I love
silent.
Kabuki.
I don't know what Kabuki's gender is. You guys both assumed lady. I'd always just assumed guy. I didn't look up the actor or anything, but
gender or not, she has, or I guess you can't assume anybody's gender, especially not in today's age.
She has some fat titties.
Yes, there are breasts there.
Really?
Yeah. Like
right.
you can only really tell in a couple of shots where the shirt, like the shadows manage to be there at all. But I also thought Kabuki was a guy until that point where you could see the definition of the breasts through her white shirt.
Well, I don't care. I love Kabuki.
Okay. Like Kabuki dual wields foam baseball bats and has like a real like childlike sort of performance style, and also never says anything. Just a cool character. But they just sort of form like an impromptu gang
and then team up. They realize they're not going to kill each other, so they might as well work together.
Right.
So I think at this point we meet Pharaoh, like for real. We start getting Pharaoh's monologues. Pharaoh is a guy.
I'm crying.
Sensitive.
This is the crying guy.
Pharaoh is a guy in like military fatigues who's getting pushed around in a wheelchair by a camouflage ninja. And who
is like his nephew, his son.
Do they imply that?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Where he's like, I don't want you wearing wheels. The wheels are evil and deadly and whatever.
Right. Well, but he loves wheels. They bring so much joy.
Right. But also they lead to a life of death.
Like Pharaoh has
pain.
maybe the most dialogue in the movie. He has like 3 different long monologues, which really feel like he's like really trying to act.
Yeah.
But like he
was giving his all.
He's also not mic'd up super well. It's just like a little hard to follow. He has some of the best lines in the movie, but he says you over the course of the film, you kind of learn. He says he created the wheel zone. It seems like he used to be a skateboarder. He fell off he had an accident on his board. He broke his back, and he also became weak to the sun as part of this accident. Like
he wears the Riddler mask.
He wears a leather mask, which I don't know. I think of it as like the Quiet Riot mask rather than the Riddler
that makes
mask.
sense.
But
Well, Count was the one saying Riddler mask.
Right.
It is the Riddler mask.
It figures Count of all people would be tying something to Batman.
But he says he created the
You know how many
wheel
times
zone.
Batman's hung out with Scooby-Doo and you hate Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, what's up?
We're not talking about
Want me to talk
Scooby-Doo.
about Scooby-Doo again?
No.
No, Count.
We're
Stop
talking
bringing up
about
Scooby-Doo.
Rollerblade 7 here.
I know.
The Alice speech. She has a great ass. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Rollerblade 7.
What do you think is going on with the wheel zone? Like in the context of the
I
Pharaoh.
want to know.
Well, do you think? What do you think? Do you think he seceded from the United States? Do you think? Do you think
it's
we're in a
another plane of
post-apocalypse
existence.
situation?
That's what I think it is. I think it's an astral plane thing, and like you have your Master of Light plane, and then you have like your Wheel Zone plane.
Yeah, but how to
'Cause
get
it's
there?
Gotta be a
Zen.
post-apocalypse.
Well, I don't know if it's. I mean, I guess it is as far as aesthetically, but I think it's just like a bunch of weirdos on the astral planes.
He says he created the wheel zone to make a place for people to have wheels because wheels give people so much joy and pleasure.
Right. But this is a movie with psychics and and weird Zen monks and things, so once you got psychics involved, who knows?
But
He could have created it as, like from his mind is what I'm getting at.
That's
It could
true.
be a very mental
That's
projecting
true.
thing.
Could be the whole thing could be in Pharaoh's mind. He just
Or
has,
like a tulpa, he made it and then others keep
yeah.
it alive.
It's like Persona 5. It's his
Right, I don't know.
palace.
It's Zen filmmaking, but like is the director like a Zen type of person or that's just what he calls it?
I believe he is. I like because Scott Shaw is, and I believe Donaldo also is. Like they're both like connected to.
It could be like different levels of like the Bardo. It could be
Right.
all sorts of things going on.
I don't know. They know like Kevin Eastman from Ninja Turtles, who I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if he's actually into ninja shit, but they seem to just have this connection to like the weird part of Hollywood. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to lean towards it being different planes of existence and perhaps the afterlife, the Bardos, and all that.
But you mentioned great butt. That's my next note.
Yeah.
Well,
it's funny because Mortis knows I'm a complete degenerate, misogynistic dog, and I didn't comment on her butt. And then there was like 2 minutes left, and Mortis is like, "Did you like her butt?" I'm like, "It's amazing. I've been biting my tongue the entire movie, not saying anything about it. It's incredible." And she's like, has it out the entire movie.
Yeah.
He really does.
Like
She's wearing like a torn up one piece swimsuit for the entire film.
Yeah, like a leotard or something.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like a thong up her fucking ass, and it's she looks great.
She looks great. Thank you, Alice.
What'd you think? What'd you think, Mortis and Slushie, about her butt?
It's great.
Okay.
It was a good butt.
And this isn't the movie with the spanking scene.
Now I'm looking forward to that.
Wait, does the second movie have a spanking?
No, Max Hell Frog Warrior has a scene where Hawk spanks a girl for multiple minutes. Like it just goes on and on. He's like, "Say you're a bad girl. I'm a bad girl. Say you're a bad. I'm a bad girl." Like it just keeps going. It's really weird.
Is Hawk in Hell Comes to Frogtown?
I don't think he's in it. No, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe like in a background capacity, but I don't think he has a major role. I guess we should note at this point, Donald G. Jackson co-directed Hell Comes to Frogtown, which is a real, actual Hollywood movie that like people have seen. So he apparently also
Have you seen it,
created the
Slushie?
Frogtown concept or something. I don't know.
Slushie, have you seen that one?
No.
We'll watch it.
Have you, Mortis?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I have too.
I've seen both of them.
It's got Roddy Piper in it.
Yeah.
I knew that it existed because shortly after we watched the rock and roll wrestling movie,
Body
what's that
Slam.
called? Yeah, shortly after we watched Body Slam, I looked up other Roddy Piper movies because, he's known best for outside of wrestling for They Live.
Yeah.
And I didn't know he had been in other films at all until we watched Body Slam, and then after that, I was like, what other movies has he been in? Oh, he's in this Hell Comes to Frogtown movie. That seems cool.
He's in 2 movies with Billy Blanks, which are both okay. So my next note is on the Utility Ninja, which is the background of the podcast here. One of my favorite scenes in the film. The group, the party, just is attacked by a ninja, one ninja, and Hawk
a lone ninja
roundhouse kicks him and kills him, and they walk away, and then the screen flashes Utility Ninja, the way that it would say, Joe Estevez or Frank Stallone if one of them had been introduced. It's just like
it's a good gag. it's really good.
Good gag.
The funny thing is, when this movie came out, if it was like a real movie, right, a Hollywood movie,
mm-hmm.
and it was doing that shit, it would show up on the Razzies for worst visual effects or some shit. But if they did that now, it'd be a huge cult hit. Everybody would be loving it. People would, like Quentin Tarantino, would be talking about how much he jacked off to Alice Speed's feet.
You don't see her feet; they're in skates. The whole movie.
It's not the point. It's not the point.
Well, it sort of is.
The point is, it's very ahead of its time.
Yes.
And it's very cool, and the title cards are very cool. Even though they're corny and inconsistent with regards to what is said in them, they're very cool.
And it was a little Final Fantasy treat, so that was nice.
I think you're making the Final Fantasy thing up.
I mean, making up as far as what? That's what I took it as.
I don't think that's what it was. I don't know that.
You don't think Ronaldo and Hawk are gamers?
Do you think I'm actually saying that it's meant to be, like, from the filmmaking point of view? Because no. I'm just saying it keeps reminding me of that.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying I don't think Donald G. Jackson has heard of a Nintendo.
I bet he has. He has.
We'll never know.
So,
let's call him up.
He's dead.
That's not going to stop Hawk or Pharaoh or any of these others.
We'll have to go to the real Wheel Zone.
Let's go to the Wheel Zone and get them.
Right, yeah. Kabuki escapes, and then I guess Pharaoh kidnapped the heroes. Is that why Kabuki escapes? So, like, it's not...
Yeah.
It's not, like, super clear, but there's a scene that has a title card, Kabuki Escapes, where Kabuki is apparently killed by... I think it was this Heavy Metal, or was it one of the Metals? I don't remember. No, it was just some dude. It was that dude with the 2 axes, the 2 plastic.
Yes, it's the plastic axe guy.
Oh, I bet that's Axeman. There's a guy in the credits whose name is like AXXXX Man. I bet that was
the part of the film where I had the hardest time paying attention.
Why?
So I missed most of what happened.
Well, Pharaoh goes to capture Hawk, Alice Speed, and Kabuki. Hawk and Alice Speed get captured, but Kabuki escapes, but then dies.
Right.
Very sadly, because, she was the best.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, we'll have to see. In Return of the Rollerblade 7. Sequel. If Kabuki's even in it.
Maybe her death is her escape. Maybe the Wheel Zone is purgatory.
Right.
And if you die in honorable battle in the Wheel Zone, you go to heaven.
This is a lot like that other movie we watched over at MDB's channel.
Right. Despiser. Yeah.
Yeah,
Despiser.
kind of like that.
So Pharaoh wants to marry Alice Speed, which who doesn't? But
Yeah,
right.
he says, "It'll be the skateboard king and the rollerblade queen." And this is also the scene where he says, "You're on trial in front of the United Skates of America," which is
It's a great line.
to me,
good.
yeah,
It was good.
it's the line of the film. So I don't know how the Black Knight becomes involved again. Now this is where the movie starts to lose me. Because they're in jail and like there starts to be like a flashing light and a strobing light, and it's just like I don't know what's happening at this point. But we go back to the Black Knight and he says that Saint Offender serves him. You know,
Right.
which I guess like Saint Offender hasn't really done much in this film other than, you know, influence people from off camera, and like he did send one guy to do something, and I don't know. I don't know if that guy ever shows up again.
I think they were trying to figure out what they have with the footage, kill a little time between them getting captured and them escaping again. And it kind of is the weird point of the movie, but you do get some great lines, and you have them in the cell, right?
Right.
This is also, though, when I was like, when's Sparrow coming back? And you're like, no, she died. Like how I thought she was just kind of lying there. I don't know.
So one character I don't have on the chart is Spirit Guide, who is a brunette lady who just like shows up sometimes. She's involved in their escape, right? Like,
yeah,
doesn't she somehow like gets them out and then they just like leave? Or,
yeah.
Like did Donaldo? I honestly don't remember. Like, does Donaldo have anything to do with it, or is it just Spirit Guide?
I know Spirit Guide is there at the end, and I think she is the one that breaks them out.
So they get out of jail. Hawk, Alice, Banjo Guy died a long time ago, sort of.
Banjo Guy's been dead
ignominiously.
Sadly.
So they're out. I don't know. Hawk and Alice have like roundly failed in their nominal mission of saving Sparrow. Kabuki,
which is
died.
pretty cool.
Banjo Guy died.
It's rare to see like a movie where they truly just fail at what they were set out to do.
Right. But they go back to the Master of Light Institute, and Donaldo marries them. And so during his wedding speech is like, time doesn't exist, master time, less time, master you. And then jumping to the end of the film, the very last shot of the movie is Donaldo sort of like doing a Zen thing at the camera, and a voice goes starting, and then it like cuts to credits. Like, what do you think he's saying here? What do you think he's saying about time, Donald G. Jackson? Is he trying to say something,
or is he just trying to be clever? I don't know.
He is clever.
Sure.
I guess
What
we'll
is he
have to
trying
see
to
the
say? I
sequel.
don't know. I don't know.
We'll have to see the sequel.
But we got that great song, so it's okay.
Yeah, so the last
like, why were there two Alice Speeds at the end?
Again,
what was going on there?
You know, maybe the sequel. So, okay,
I was confused. I was like, is it really supposed to be two of her? And then clearly, yes.
The last scene of the film, Hawk and Alice ride away on Hawk's motorcycle, which I guess is back because it disappeared on the start of the movie. They ride away on his motorcycle, and Saint Offender was hiding. Saint Offender and another Alice Speed were hiding in the parking lot, and they follow them in this old cool muscle car. And the whole time, so the song is playing, which is Pride of the Yankees, performed by the Dust Poets, written by Rob Witham. It's a great song. For years I've been searching for like anything on this song. This morning I found the original artist performing it a couple different videos on YouTube. Rob Witham. I don't know. It's cool.
It's a great song, and I don't even like the Yankees, so check it out.
Well,
It's not about the Yankees.
so it's
You
funny.
can't prove that. Death of the author.
No,
He's not dead.
So
That's not what that means.
it's just
know.
an aside about like media literacy here. It's like on the
Death
surface,
of the author is when you like Harry Potter, even though you're trans. But
right?
why? Because it's not good. Anyway,
On the surface,
That's not what that means either. But we're not going to get into that.
I know what it means.
so it's like, oh, Pride of the Yankees. Oh, you wrote a song about Lou Gehrig. Great, I love it. And like, there's a lot of YouTube comments to that effect. And then Slushie found some Facebook That's like level 0 of media literacy. And then Slushie found some Facebook comments that was like, I love it. This is what I consider a true patriotic song. And that's like level 1 because it seems to be about America. And the guy, what did he say? He was like, it is what it is. It's got the good and the bad.
It is what it is.
It's...
And then the first person responded back like, what does that mean, Robert Witham? And Robert Witham's like, the good with the bad.
But like, the Dust Poets version is like more explicitly negative with like there's a couple word changes, but I don't know. I think it's about like America's image of itself post World War II, and then the version in the film is like
A little bit about baseball.
it's not. They say baseball is in the song, but there's literally one of the performances. The guy says the song's called "The Pride of the Yankees." It's not about baseball,
but it does make an appearance. That's what he says.
But it's a great song. It's a great scene. Again, this is where the Easy Rider connection comes back because they are Saint Offender shoots. Saint Offender has the mysterious clone Alice shoot Hawk and Alice, apparently killing Alice. Hawk apparently not dead. So the last we see of Hawk, he gets up, runs off camera brandishing his katana, runs off camera at what? We don't, seem to be saying like he still has killing to do. I don't know. Any thoughts on this?
Well,
scene?
Not really. It's weird, and I was mostly wrapped up in the song and trying to find out what the song was called, not realizing that once the credits started, it was just going to say what the song was called.
I could have just told you.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the song. I think it's a confusing ending, but given how the movie was made,
Yeah.
That's the entire movie. Like this is a movie where I'm letting myself enjoy it and not fight it in a Zen way. You have to be in a Zen mindset to enjoy the movie.
Well, then I guess you know where to bring your mind when we watch The Legend of Chun-Li.
Nope. I've seen it twice.
Some movies, lend themselves to a Zen detachment. I don't, not necessarily every movie.
If Chun-Li was wearing what the chick in this was, Alice, then yeah, maybe we'd watch it.
So
I don't know that you could pay Kristen Krug enough money for her to appear sexual.
She probably would do it. She's adorable.
There's on YouTube, I'm not sure if it's like a unlisted video or what, but on YouTube there is a document. It's called The Interview, The Making of Rollerblade 7 or something. And it's like, we didn't watch it, but it seems like it's in kayfabe. like the thing starts with Donald Jackson and Scott Shaw leaving the Screen Actors Guild with a woman who looks like Marilyn Monroe on a leash, and they're leading her around. Like, Scott is leading her around, and
Cool.
there's all these like fake reporters like, what's going on? What do you say about Rollerblade 7? So like I'm not sure how serious that documentary is, but I don't know, it's probably interesting to watch. And then like later, I skipped around a little bit, and like later Scott has a different girl on a leash. These guys, I don't know. Scott Shaw's whole website, like,
they love slave girls and they love rollerblades.
Yeah.
It's just like, we didn't even mention the slave girl in this.
I read a there's an interview on Scott Shaw's website about Max Frog Warrior, where he is like pretty mean to Donald. He's like, he says like, yeah, you know, the producer on Rollerblade 7, the movie made a lot in the video market and overseas, and the producer and Donald fucked me out of 100% of it. But then like he just like kept working with him. Like, it's really odd. Like, they seem to be like genuinely good friends, but he also seems to be really bitter about it. And he's still making movies in this like Zen style that he did with Donald. It's odd. They seem to have an interesting.
You never know the dynamics. So,
yeah.
Or like how someone feels from one day to the other being interviewed too.
Yeah. But then another thing he says in that same interview is, I guess, like, the tone of the interview is like, people have always said this movie is shit, and I'm finally here to really interview you about it. And Scott says, people who review films just want to grow their name from doing nothing. And so,
damn,
you know,
too true.
Is he talking about us? Is he talking about the Razzies? Who's he talking about? I don't know.
Hey, we're here to celebrate film.
Right. But I think that, like, if the Razzies had heard of this movie, certainly it would have probably won something. Those fuckers.
The problem with the fucking Razzies is that they want to look at something like this because it's not well known enough to like get the controversy going by like calling. It's easy to call Frank Stallone a bad actor because he is, but his brother is great.
Oh, Frank Stallone also in Hudson Hawk, another through line this week.
Yeah,
was he?
Yeah, he was one of the Mario brothers.
He gets blown up. I hope he's okay.
Right. Plus a Nintendo.
What a good movie, Hudson Hawk.
I love that Bruce line because it's such a Count thing to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts on Rollerblade 7?
Check it out.
Get really fucking high and watch it, and it'll be a great time.
Get
high on portobello mushrooms.
Sure.
Get high on portobello mushrooms.
Yeah.
Get really zen and watch it is what I'm going with.
Sure.
You don't want to fight this movie. You don't want to be like a guy dragging his heels, not enjoying something. Just try to enjoy it because it is enjoyable. I've seen some of the other movies. They are not as good, but this is a good one.
Yeah. Agree. So the next film, the last film, Six String Samurai. Watch this. Another movie about a guy with a sword walking through the desert.
Yeah. Except this one is like the part of the Mojave they don't normally make movies in.
Yeah, that was one of my notes. Like, so Rollerblade 7, like, there's notes. There was like a bullet pointed list on Scott Shaw's website, and it's like, we shot this at all these places, and it's like literally every place in California that every movie has ever been shot at. Like the Griffith Observatory, that one cave, the LA riverbed. It's like it was like he was like proud of these things. It's like, well, yeah. I mean, I guess if you're trying to like prove to someone it's a real movie, that's, you know, I guess this is some metric you could use, but yeah, Six String Samurai is like, is it the Mojave Desert? Did you look it up?
I didn't, but I assume it is because he's going to Vegas, and why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it wasn't even shot in America because it was cheaper or something, but I don't know.
Who knows? But it's the part of the Mojave Desert that even Neil Breen is too scared to go on.
It's like there's a real ass desert with real dunes. There's like all these cool ruined buildings and like cool junkyard stuff. There's like a cool. It's like stuff you don't see in every movie, you know. So that was a good contrast. Like it's a great looking movie visually. Good shots, good locations.
It's another post-apocalypse movie that has a really interesting gimmick where it's all rock and roll people. Like every major character in this film is based on a real life musician of some sort.
Yeah.
The premise is that much like Fallout, which sucks, the Soviets nuked America in the 50s, and Elvis became king because like Las Vegas was the last bastion of freedom, and Elvis became king of it. So Elvis dies, and we focus on Buddy Holly traveling across. And they never say Buddy Holly, but like at one point, very late in the film, somebody calls him Buddy. So
yeah, the little kid calls him Buddy.
Yeah. It's again mentioned in Rollerblade 7 by the weird Elvis guy.
So, are they in limbo in this movie? Is it a physical world?
I think this movie is what it says it is.
I think we can just take this one at face value.
Can we? We got like a guy as Death running around.
Yeah. Well,
he's going around killing all the old bands to make way for heavy metal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Could be something to it.
Could be. So, this is a movie that I remember in like the early day, the DVD boom. People like there was a buzz about this movie like in the early aughts. It was like, dang, you got to check this shit out. This is a badass movie. It's a weird movie, and then like kind of like Versus, like it's just sort of gone like out of the zeitgeist, and like it's become, if you know about it, you know about it, but like you're probably not going to hear about this today. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it back in the 90s. I didn't watch. This is another one I didn't watch until college, but I do remember like the small flap of this being like a legendary, strange movie throughout the late 90s and early 2000s, and then I finally like found a copy online. Like over a decade ago.
Yeah. And I hadn't thought about this for years because like I got it on DVD, I watched it, and then I showed it to one of my friends, and then like I just sort of put it away, and then I think I saw the poster or something. I was like, oh yeah, that's a movie.
It's a cool movie. Like it does deserve to have a little bit more of a fandom to it because there's weird shit in it. It clearly inspired the Fallout games, which suck.
Right.
But this is good.
Right.
Recently, the director of this was on a podcast.
We need to be clear. because nerds are rabid individuals. Fallout 3 and on.
No, I think
okay.
Nobody's
I
going to
I was
argue
gonna say
that
Fallout
Fallout
in
1 and
general
2.
sucks.
I kind of think they all suck.
Well,
I
no.
think they- I think they all
I mean, as far as
You're
as far
covering
as
your own ass
inspiration.
here.
No, I mean as far as inspiration.
Okay.
Because Fallout 1 and 2 came out before this, but 3 and beyond are very rooted in the 50s, whereas the other ones are very not rooted in the 50s.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I get you.
I
get
see.
you.
I understand. Fuck Fallout.
I mean, I agree. They're boring.
No, I was gonna say the director was on a podcast, which brought this back into my mind. Aaron Franz's Age of Transitions podcast. So check him out. Check out their interview.
I'll put a link in the show notes if Count
I
gets
tried
me
looking
one.
for it. I actually couldn't find it
Oh, really?
again. It was a few years ago, but like it brought it back into my mind, like after college, but before now, because I'm a decade out. So like the gap between.
Yeah.
Anyway, he seems like a cool guy. He seems sort of into like Zen stuff.
Has he done anything else?
I don't really think so. This is like what he's known for.
Lance Mungia.
Yeah, I think this is the only thing he's ever really done. The Crow, Wicked Prayer.
He directed
Yeah,
that?
he did
Apparently.
one of the Crow sequels. Yeah.
Isn't that the one on Tubi?
It might
Maybe?
be.
Oh, maybe you should watch that.
It was very poorly received.
But Slushie, you said Jeffrey Falcon, who is the main character, I think, and the writer I'm seeing here on the poster. You said he's in a lot of martial arts movies?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know if it's Hong Kong or not because I don't know how to read other languages.
Right.
But he is in a shit ton of movies that
Interesting.
have Chinese sounding names.
Okay.
So he's only credited for 2 more movies after this, which is a shame because he seemed very personable and his action was good. He knew what he was doing.
For sure.
And he has a
very
great
clearly
voice.
choreographed
That's his
the
real
entire
voice.
film.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like you assume a movie like this, the hero is going to be like, it's me, Buddy Holly, but he has like a high pitched voice and like he just sounds.
I love his
It
voice.
sounds cool. Like he has cool delivery and cool lines.
I like his whole thing going on. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like him.
He very much looks like a dude who would walk around the desert in a fucking rags of a tuxedo wearing broken glass.
So,
Right, and he can back it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first note on this is Wolfman Jack, which like throughout the movie, there's radio broadcasts from a Wolfman Jack impersonator, just like, but it's like literally supposed to be Wolfman Jack, so that's I don't know, that's cool.
I didn't know Wolfman Jack was an actual person until after this movie when I saw him credited as Wolfman impersonator.
Right.
I was like, oh, I guess that's an actual radio DJ from some point.
Yeah, he was a DJ.
Yeah. It's one of those things like I never like heard him on the radio, but it's one of those things that my grandma would always like anytime there was a wolf or a wolf man, my grandma would say Wolfman Jack, and it's just like okay.
He's in
I guess that's a thing.
He's in that one fucking movie that George Lucas made, right? Or Spielberg. One of them.
American Graffiti?
American Graffiti?
Yeah, isn't he in that?
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Seen it. One of the characters doesn't talk to him, but he uses like his normal voice, and then he uses like the Wolfman voice after.
There's that arcade game, DJ Boy, I think, where the Japanese version it has Demon Kaka from Sekimatsu, but then in the American version it has Wolfman Jack.
Weird.
Like you put in a coin in, and it's like, "Hey, baby, it's DJ Boy." So
it is American Graffiti. I looked it up.
Okay.
Man Jackson there. So if you want to like see him in a very small role in live action, Slushie Mortis, he's in there.
So the
I've
movie,
heard American Graffiti sucks, so I don't really care.
yeah, I really I mean, even if it was,
it's
like
fine.
the best movie in the fucking world, I don't really care that much about like a period drama about nostalgia, like whatever I assume it is. Like it,
Jerk yourself off over the 60s.
right?
Come on.
I don't know.
It's fine. I don't think it's awful. I don't think it's great. It's fine.
You know what, Count? You should feel bad for liking that movie as much as you do.
What movie?
American Graffiti. Count loves it.
I couldn't even remember it. I had to look it up.
Why don't you ever play along with my bits, Count?
We can't tell their
Because
bits.
it was leading back to Scooby-Doo. I knew it.
So, the King.
Casey Kasem is the only radio DJ I care about.
Right. Man, maybe someday they'll make like, you know, a movie like this with Casey Kasem.
See,
Like the 80s get blown up nuclear.
Back into Scooby fucking Doo. I knew it.
Right.
Why it didn't go along with it? I knew it. I knew where it was going.
So, Buddy Holly, he meets a kid. Is the kid supposed to be somebody?
Ah.
Yeah, this kid can't speak. For most of the movie, the kid just goes, ah. Gets a little old. But
yeah,
it's, I don't know. There's been worse kids in movies. For the most part, he's, you know, inoffensive, with the exception of the crying scene.
Crying scene's bad.
I was after we watched this, I was on Google, like 50s musician coonskin hat. Like, I was trying to figure out if this kid was like supposed to be some specific musician or something, but like I couldn't.
That I don't know. I
couldn't figure it out.
Like he wasn't.
He's the spirit of American youth.
Right. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what the coonskin cap is about, like the frontier or something, I guess. Yeah.
That's the only thing I could possibly think of.
Yeah. So he Buddy Holly doesn't want this kid with him. He constantly is trying to get rid of this kid. Buddy's going to Vegas. Wolfgang Jack is explaining on the radio the situation. He's going to Vegas to be the new king. He says as much. He's got a cool little umbrella. Whenever he opens the umbrella, it makes a weird stock sound that we've all heard in video games, but we can't place. It's like, like some weird laser fireball sound. So Buddy, on his journey, he encounters pretty early the Red Elvises, who did most of the music for this movie.
And it's pretty good. Pretty good music.
And just the Red Elvises themselves are in the film.
Is that why I kept saying Russian surf?
Yes.
Yeah.
The closed captions kept saying like surf in quotation marks or Russian surf music. Do you guys know anything about the Red Elves?
No, I didn't.
I know nothing about them.
You ever encountered these guys before? I've seen these guys live like 5 times.
What?
Oh, cool.
Really? Because of this movie? Or
no. It's interesting. Like,
Mortis, you're so fucking cool, dude.
So like,
Mortis, you're pretty cool.
In it must have been like the mid 90s. These guys used to go by Limpopo, and they played more like Russian, like comedy folk, I guess. Like gimmick Russian folk. They were playing at the fucking Salina River Festival in Salina, Kansas. And I saw them there, and they were, you know, it's like Kansas, I don't know. And
right.
They still had this huge bass. I don't know if it was the same bass, but part of their gimmick is, you know, one of them has a comically large bass.
Like a stand-up bass that he plays horizontally.
Yeah. But my cousin was really into him, and he bought the tape. Like, you know, they had the merch table. And then much later, without knowing there was any connection. I saw like at I think when I moved to Seattle, I saw them at like 2 different music festivals, and then like later I like on purpose went to a bar to see them at a bar. Like they were constantly in Seattle. And then later I saw this movie. So it's like they're a really good live show. Like they're really, really fun. I don't know if they're still like touring. I think they're still making music. But I think they're from Ukraine, so we don't have to feel bad about them right now. But
I was getting ready to make a joke,
right?
Trying to workshop them, so I'm glad I don't have to.
An interesting thing about them is that like their studio. I have always thought their studio albums suck ass. Like both times, like the first 2 times I saw them, I bought CDs, and I was like, this isn't that good. Like something. Like they're mixed bad, and like the energy isn't the same. So like they have a live album. It's called Your Favorite Band Live, which like I would recommend that if you want to listen to Red Elvis's. But I don't know.
Some bands just work better live.
Yeah, they do almost all the songs in the film, and it works good. So that's my thing about the Red Elvis.
Yeah, I like their music in the movie.
They had nice shoes.
They did have nice shoes.
They did have nice shoes.
And then they were killed for their shoes.
I do love when a band appears as themselves in a movie. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Especially when they're like more than just like on stage, if they have like a little bit of a character to them, which they do in this.
Yeah, it would have been maybe that's part, the Red Elvises didn't exist in 1959. So what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on here?
So like we start to meet different gangs. I think Slushie was comparing this to the Warriors, which I still haven't seen. There's a lot of different. Watch it soon. There's a lot of different themed gangs. There's a caveman gang. There's a bowling gang. There's
bowling gang was really good.
There's a gas mask windmill gang. There's
the weird astronaut.
There's an astronaut gang. There's a gas mask gang. There's who else is there?
There's a weird happy family.
There's
the credits. The credits on IMDb refer to the gas mask people underground as the grungers.
Interesting.
So I guess they're supposed to represent grunge?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I would assume it's more like they live in grunge because they're in a sewer, but
right,
yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe the windmill god is Kurt Cobain.
Right.
Who can say?
Yeah, so it's hard to say. Like, it's hard to say if they're supposed to mean like, genres of music clashing. I guess there's an argument for that because there's the Death Gang, and Death is probably supposed to be Slash from Guns N' Roses.
He has a
very, very clearly Slash.
But like,
he has a very Slash hat, and
I don't know.
Never see his face.
Like, there's nothing in the film that. Like, there's nothing musical in the film, like the gangs don't like have a theme or anything,
right.
Like musically. So
yeah, you would think this is a musical. It's not, folks.
Right. It's not a musical.
It's not.
There's also the little person and his weird like mop. They're on. I just realized they're on the cover. That little guy. What's his name?
Little man. Little man. Yeah. That's what he calls him.
So there's a lot of different
being
gangs.
Insensitive, folks. I'm clarifying. Covered by her ass.
That's his name.
It's literally what the character calls him.
He has a shop. I think he runs some kind of shop. Wolfman Jack has an ad for it.
He sells toilet water.
Oh, is that what that was? Right.
Yeah.
You're right. That's why it was blue, because 2000 flushes blue. He has toilet water in little Gatorade bottles. I didn't realize that. Okay. I guess I missed that line. But I kind of remember hearing it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like there's a whole lot to like talk about moment to moment in this, but like
not really, yeah.
There's a lot of good. I don't know. The fights are
like
good.
a road trip post-apocalyptic with themed around musicians.
Right.
Basically,
It's like if you took The Road and
Is that the one with Tom Hanks?
no, it's the
it's
one with
the
Viggo
one with-
Mortensen.
What's the one with Tom Hanks?
Castaway.
Isn't Tom Hanks in some? The Road is a graphic novel, right? Let's get brass tacks.
Yes,
it's a
yes,
book.
but
It
had
is a book?
movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
it's a
isn't
graphic novel? It's a book.
Road to Perdition is what I'm thinking of. Okay, I just remember.
Yeah, I don't
comic.
think that's
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's a comic.
that's why I was confused. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah, Cloud Atlas, Cyraptor in the chat. Cloud Atlas is the post-apocalypse Tom Hanks movie.
What were you saying,
true.
Slushy? It's like the
It's
road.
like if it's like The Road meets The Warriors meets not a depressing film.
meets Legend of the Rollerblade 7.
Yeah. The Warriors not depressing, The Road very depressing. I haven't seen it, but that's what everyone says. If you want to be sad and watch a good movie, you watch The Road.
I've seen The Road and The Warriors.
If you want to be sad and watch a good movie, I recommend Grave of the Fireflies.
That's for kids. It's a cartoon. It's for kids.
Yeah, that one's for children.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
That one's for little girls.
Right. Well, there's also Barefoot Gen for little boys. And Quentin Tarantino. What
It's a road movie. It's a road trip movie.
was the do you think the cowboy type guy was like supposed to be Clint Eastwood
Absolutely.
at the gas station?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Was he supposed to be
talked
the-
exactly like him?
Yeah.
He was squinting his eyes. He talks just like him. He said like a very similar line.
There's just a lot of, Americana. It's a movie about Americana.
There's like a video game franchise like that, but it's terrible.
Well, this is a movie podcast.
If Michael
good.
Kirkbride never left Bethesda, then Bethesda would be making good stories in their mostly good sandbox games. And also maybe people wouldn't like them as much. Who knows?
I just wish this guy, both of them, the director and the star, had a bigger, better career. It's really a shame to see a movie, especially now that this is like 24 years old, 25 years old, to like they didn't get a chance to make more. And it's the industry's fault. It's not their fault. They probably had ideas and just
No, maybe not. Maybe they were out of ideas. Maybe they got it out of their
Come on.
I don't know. What did they talk about on that other podcast?
Well, they were talking about like just technology and things of how like it impacts humanity. It wasn't so much about the movie.
Oh, well, shit.
It's a technological podcast. The Age of Transitions. Sometimes I agree with Aaron Franz, sometimes I don't. So if anyone's like looking it up, like this guy Count's a weirdo.
Count is a weirdo. Let's be clear.
I am a weirdo, but I also just find it very interesting.
Take
Aaron
Count
Franz,
at his own face value.
Aaron Franz as a human being is a really nice, decent person. So
if I started a podcast if I started listening to a podcast called The Age of Transitions, and it wasn't about trans people, I'd probably be really upset.
It's mostly about transhumanism.
I guess really disappointed.
Than transgendered people.
Okay.
Like furries. Furries are transhumans.
I suppose so.
Transhumanists. If I woke up tomorrow as a cat person, do you know how fucking happy I would be, dude?
That'd be good.
Franz Kafka wrote about that.
Yeah, I read that.
Oh, you did?
It was very relatable. Yeah.
I ain't got no self-esteem. I think I'm turning into a bug.
He was relatable? He wasn't very happy about it.
The turning into a bug part is metaphorical.
Right.
He didn't want to be a bug.
That's what I'm saying.
I've read it too. He did not.
Nobody
did not
wants
have
to
a
be
good
a
time.
cockroach.
Gregor?
You'd be surprised.
Well, okay. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Like, most of my notes on this are just like the beats of the film. Like, I don't, I don't really, I don't really want to like go beat
Right,
by
we don't have
beat
to go beat
because
by
like
beat.
there's not really that much to say about it other than yeah, this is good. This is a good fight. There's a good fight, and the shots were good, and
It's
Buddy said a
a
cool line, and it was cool.
Buddy Holly's on the way to Vegas to become the new king. He takes on a kid. They get into weird situations on their way to Vegas. And it's a good time filled with good music. And it's not a musical. So if you hate musicals, don't worry. If you're into Americana stuff, you'll like this. If you like Kung Fu with good action, he actually knows what he's doing. Swinging the sword and throwing punches and kicks. And his kicks are amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Like the
Right,
way he was
yeah.
moving, very impressive.
Very,
Even like
very good.
nimbly jumping over rocks and shit. I don't know. I was impressed by him.
The kicks are good. So just like individual bullet points on shit to talk about. One of the things I wrote, please stop crying, kid.
Well, the kid was whiny, and I did call him out for
Well,
it.
there's a scene where the kid skins his knee, and he is crying really loud for a really long time. Eventually, Buddy is able to calm him down by doing handstands and flips and like walking on his hands and stuff. So like he's, to Count's point, yeah, he's an athletic dude and able to do stunts. So,
Yeah, you rarely see your star doing their own stunts,
yeah.
especially like a white guy doing it. So
There's the who is the La Bamba guy? What did we?
Richie.
Is that Richie Valens? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he encounters Richie Valens in a bar, in a cantina style bar. They have a throwdown. Ironically, so here's another note I have. Hell is a sewer. Like, so
The spinach monster.
right, we encounter like the windmill worshippers, the grungers, as mentioned, who live in a sewer. They seem to like have some connection with death, and at some point, like the kid gets dragged down there by the spinach monster, a recurring concept. We don't get to see him, unfortunately. They say like "Welcome to Hell, kid," and then the kid has to fight in an arena another kid who did die earlier in the movie. And it's like,
right.
what's going on here?
That's what I'm saying. Who knows? Is this meant to be our physical reality?
Yeah.
Beginning of this discussion, the two of you were like, "No way! It's supposed to be what it is," and I don't know.
I mean, it's like
got
roadside
layers.
picnic, like you could drop a nuke on something. The reality could change a little bit, like we don't
I'm
know.
gonna get a little weird.
Like, did the nuclear do something? I don't know. It's just.
Well, is it supposed to be face value like a hell? Because that kid did die.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff
So-
in the movie that's like, okay, I can take this at face value, but then it's like, yeah, that kid literally was shot with an arrow and died.
Right.
And now he's here again. But in the same scene, one of the score / soundtrack's missteps, I don't think they really needed to play generic Asian flute for when the kid was like finding his chi in the fight, right?
I wanted to
Yeah,
ask
probably not.
both of you, what is that?
What is
Like,
what?
it's in everything. What does it come from originally?
The flute? Like, what is
Yeah,
the
the generic-
origin of the shakuhachi flute?
But like, why is it always at those same notes and like everything?
I
Like,
don't
that
know.
little-
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know that it was the same notes as like the doo-doo sample that's in all music from the 90s, but
I feel like I've heard that exact thing that was in that movie.
It could be.
And multiple things.
I mean, it
just felt so generic.
It's just it felt generic, and it was weird that, like, there was a scene where Buddy and the kid are kind of like, well, Buddy's doing like Tai Chi, and the kid is sort of mirroring it, and then later he like starts to think about that when he's having this fight, and it plays this just extremely generic flute, and it's like, what, really? Like, did you had to do this? It feels really out of place just because, like, the score in the rest of the movie is so good.
Then again, it is kind of funny because Buddy tells the kid pretty much to stop.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
So I don't know.
It's like, just clock him in the cage. Just clock him in the face, kid. On the note of the soundtrack and the fights being good, I wanted to mention that there's that, like, pretty early fight where the action, like, it's a Red Elvis's song, and the song itself slows way down, and the fight starts being in slow motion, and then, like, it speeds back up as the song picks back up. It's cool. That's a good
yeah,
that's a good soundtrack bit.
It's a good movie. People, let's bring it back up into, someone post on Twitter or something.
Well, not Twitter.
Right.
Whatever. I don't know.
There's
cool
nowhere
now.
to post anything that gets any audience. Everybody's all split. Well, we're posting about it. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Spotify. It's going to be on Apple Podcasts. It's going to be on Google Podcast. Have we had any confirmation on Google? Like,
nope.
No.
But I also haven't checked for a little while.
This movie deserves another life. It deserves people to come back to it 25 years later and say that it's fun and enjoyable, unique, fairly unique. And it is a lot like Rollerblade 7, but more constructed, a little bit better budget.
Okay, we're there. We're there and current on Google Podcasts. I've confirmed it.
Good.
I don't know where you can watch this though.
YouTube.
Oh,
this
Six
movie.
String Samurai.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I don't. It's not on Tubi.
It's not on Tubi. It's not like on any streaming platforms, I don't think.
Yeah.
Find it on the internet. You're on the internet now. Find it.
If you were smart enough to find this video, you're smart enough to watch Six String Samurai somehow. Be courageous.
Checking.
Use search engines.
Well, okay. I looked on YouTube here, and it says Six String Samurai 1998 official full movie subtitles from Palm, a channel called Palm, which is Palm Pictures released it, so it's just on YouTube for free.
All right, watch it. There you go. Watch it on YouTube. You have no excuse, folks.
That's interesting. Yeah, just watch says it's not on anything, which is what I have it on DVD still, so it's legal that I downloaded it from Cinemageddon. So I didn't realize it was on YouTube.
That's how it works.
Yeah, that's how it works. It's out there. You can see it, and do see it because it is good.
Yeah.
And
it's good. It's fun. It's worth watching.
We watched great movies this week, and it felt good.
Yeah.
It felt so good. Why do you want to take that away from us, Slushie?
I think Chun-Li is a fun and enjoyable film. I don't understand why you can't enjoy bad movies.
I can.
Look, from the outside, it just doesn't look that fun. Oh, no.
It's not fun.
It just
I've
doesn't
seen
look
it twice.
fun. You've seen it twice.
I've seen it twice.
How many times have you seen it, Mortis?
Never. It just doesn't look
watch it.
fun.
It's fun.
It looks like cheap and weird and like.
It is cheap.
Yeah, and that's a big part of why it's fun.
She doesn't even wear the fucking costume.
She does.
It's,
What are you talking about?
does she?
Yeah.
I thought she just wore kind of like a skin tight black situation with maybe like a vest. I don't.
She doesn't have the costume for the entire movie. But similarly to Street Fighter the movie, which we all love, I assume you guys seem to enjoy it when we watched it.
It's
There's
fun.
a lot of colors in Street Fighter the movie, but like
There is a thing that happens.
Return of
that-
Chun-Li just looks like
where
mainly
she gets the
black.
movie. It is, but it's just a silly movie and it's fun to watch. We don't have to watch it soon. I know there's a lot of better movies.
Well,
I have just been in the mood to watch it. That's all.
on that note, I'm going to be out of town next week, so I assume we're not having an episode unless you guys want to arrange one somehow.
I wouldn't want to do one without you. I wouldn't want to do one without Count, and I wouldn't want to do one. I wouldn't want you guys doing one without me.
Episode 16, folks. Just me next week.
Maybe, look, you can track down a celebrity we've been talking about. You can talk to him.
That'd be cool.
We're not
It'll be an
We're not
addendum.
getting Charlie. We're not getting Charlie Spradling on this podcast. If you're not here.
I wish we need her. Can someone out there make this happen?
Anyone who's worked in the salad or restaurant industry, get us in touch with Charlie Spradling.
We're in these Puppet
The
Masters, Full
salad
Moon
or
connections.
restaurant.
Hook us up. Yeah, so no show next week.
Yeah. But we'll be back after that.
I thought you said Sinersha on. Next
So did I, actually. I had to think about it for a minute. Like, what does Sinersha know about movies?
Nope.
He was in a movie club in college, I think.
Cyraptor, me, and Captain Raz next week.
You could have Sinersha on. Yeah, really. He knows shit about
He doesn't
movies.
have time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sinersha doesn't know who I am.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Hey, Sinersha, you
Bonesy
want
will
to...
be on next week.
Hey, Sinersha, you want to go on a podcast? With who? CountPupper. Who's that? I thought that was Bonesy.
God.
Have you ended the episode yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Anyway. Any closing
Play
thoughts?
Atari this August. Give it a shot.
Yeah, if you're
Movies
not
are good.
if you're not playing Atari, play Atari.
If you're not playing Atari, you're sucking.
Movies are
Atari
good.
Femboy Summer.
Atari Femboy Summer Wake and Play on Twitch is doing a little Atari competition. So if you're listening to this now, August 2023, check it out. The more the merrier. We don't talk too much about game stuff, but this is an ongoing competition within our small circle. So it'd be fun to have people participate.
Link in the show notes, I guess. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there. I'm going to hit the theme song.
All right.
I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
All
Yeah.
right. Have fun.
Bye.